Senator, if you could stand by with us, we want to bring in our chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin. She's got some breaking news to add to what we are learning right now about this operation. Jennifer.
Sandra, I just spoke with a senior U.S. official that confirmed to Fox that the U.S. does believe that Ali Khamenei, the Ayatollah, was killed along with 5 to 10 top Iranian leaders in that initial Israeli strike on his compound earlier today that launched this day of strikes, the last 12 hours. They agree with Israel's intelligence assessment. But what is most interesting to me is that the multiple sources have told me that the strike had to be moved up based on intelligence and this so-called target of opportunity. There was a deliberate decision to accelerate the timeline and to strike during the daytime, which is extremely unusual. Usually the U.S. would not strike during the daytime, but they wanted to catch the senior leadership off guard. It was a Saturday morning during Ramadan, and it was also Shabbat during the day. And that's when Israel took the opportunity and dropped those 30 bombs on the compound, and the U.S. simultaneously launched strikes against all of the military targets that then we've seen the results of today. I've also learned that the U.S. alone, the U.S. military alone, has carried out nearly 900 strikes in the last airstrikes in the last 12 hours. That is an incredibly high number of strikes in the first 12 hours of this operation, Sandra.
Hey, Jen, it's John here. So the one thing that we sometimes neglect to mention is that one of the big reasons why Midnight Hammer and the 12-day war were so successful was because Israel had Mossad agents on the ground who were directing activities for the aircraft that were overhead. Do we have any idea? And one of the other things about the 12-day war that was so brilliant on the part of the Israelis is they managed to attract, to bring together top members of the IRGC leadership, and then they eliminated them. Do we know what the Mossad's potential role was here in making sure that they had everybody in the right place at the right time to launch this strike?
I think it's safe to assume, John, that this was an intelligence-driven operation, and the people who have the best intelligence in that region tend to be Mossad. If you look at what happened last summer in terms of Lebanon and the drawing together of those leaders as well, taking out and decapitating Hezbollah, this is a style of attack and strike and intelligence that really only the Israelis are capable of. And so I think it makes sense that it was their warplanes that struck the compound. But I found it very interesting that the U.S. had to agree to move up the timeline based on this target of opportunity, and that senior officials both in Israel as well as in the United States believe that 5 to 10 top Iranian leaders were killed in that strike, including the IRGC commander killed alongside Ali Khamenei.
Jen, if you could you also give us any further details that we have learned about attacks on U.S. military bases in the Middle East? What do we know at this point?
Well, we know that there have been at least 300 missiles fired by Iran today. Some of them have been missiles, some drones targeting various U.S. military bases. A lot of people may not realize that the U.S. has bases in almost every Gulf country. So from Oman to Kuwait to UAE to Qatar, as well as in Saudi Arabia. In fact, I've just received word from a very senior military source that the U.S. base, the Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, is currently under attack by Iranian ballistic missiles, and that the Saudis are currently shooting down those missiles. But this is a big escalation, and we reported earlier today how significant it was that the Saudis had decided to get off the sidelines and decide to say that they were joining in this operation against Iran once Iran fired missiles into Iranian territory, because they're also firing into some of the areas where oil production is in Saudi Arabia. So the countries like Oman, UAE, and Oman has come off the sidelines as well and is criticizing Iran for the strikes against UAE, Qatar, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia.
Right. I mean, the fact that Iran is throwing all these ballistic missiles at countries in the region, I mean, could be read as the death knell of a regime that is on its last legs. Because
it's certainly a sign of desperation, John. I think that is absolutely correct. And I just meant to mention to Sandra, you asked about the strikes on the U.S. bases. There have been no casualties. So while there has been some incoming, there have been no casualties and no real damage that has interfered with operations.
So if this is indeed Iran just kind of firing everything that it's got at everybody in the region as it crumbles, the question is, how many ballistic missiles does it have? And I'm sure that our ability to defend against them is finite. I mean, how much do we have left in terms of missile defense?
Well, I think we have plenty of missile defense right now. I mean, it's not infinite, but what I have learned is that Iran has fired about 300 missiles today. They have about 2,000 long-range missiles and 2,000 shorter-range missiles. That is really significant because they were building up. Remember, a lot of those missile supplies were attrited last summer during Operation Midnight Hammer, but it seems, and sources have told me, that one of the reasons it was so urgent and needed that Israel and the United States felt that they needed to act is that if Iran had had another year, they would have had 1,000 more ballistic missiles. They were building them at such a pace and resupplying despite having lost so many last year.
Jen, before you go, and we have a live look at the White House, I'm being told right now. We have not heard directly from the U.S. or Iran, for that matter, following the confirmation of the Supreme Leader's death, correct?
We have not heard an official comment on the record statement. I imagine that they would let that be announced by the president.
Got it. And I'm told the pictures that we have right now are new from the Situation Room, guys. I think we're getting our first pictures from inside the Situation Room. Okay. This is from, obviously, Mar-a-Lago, as the president traveled there yesterday after he left Texas from Mar-a-Lago as this decision was being made. Okay. Jen Griffin joining us by phone on the breaking news. Thank you so much.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.